Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'll be reviewing The Whale. We were lucky enough to go to the Middleburg Film Festival just this past weekend. It was really awesome to see some of these really acclaimed films coming out, getting the opportunity to meet some of the people involved in the making of them. Particularly, we were so excited to check out this film because Brendan Fraser, as well as the writer of this original screenplay, was there. So we were able to get some really intriguing insight into how this film was made, what went on behind the scenes, what went behind the original creation of the movie, and I think that elevated it just so much more. So this movie follows the story of Charlie, who is a very overweight individual. He's kind of trapped in his own home. He's played by Brendan Fraser. I think this performance is a really career-defining performance from Brendan Fraser. It is something that I never expected from him. Obviously, we have seen him in the past in some more comedic roles, some more kind of consumable things, whether it be George of the Jungle or the Mummy franchise. But this one, he really steps out and shows his ability to act and just convey just such a somber and emotional and powerful story about someone who's trying to find redemption, who maybe had some struggles in life, some regrets in life, and trying to accomplish everything that they not necessarily want to accomplish, but need to accomplish in the last few days of their life. And this movie just really struck a chord with me personally because, as you've seen probably in this channel, if you've been following us for multiple years, I've struggled myself with weight, with gaining and losing weight. I've gained and lost 60 pounds multiple times in my life, and I really have kind of like that bad relationship with food at times. And this movie really displays that. It shows Charlie struggling to control what he feels he needs to do to feel good as a person, because there's multiple scenes that maybe as an audience you would watch and it comes off slightly disturbing, or even it felt like when we were in there maybe like grotesque to some people to watch someone of that size continue to consume these horrible things, knowing that it's going to end his life. He knows it, the audience knows it, his family, his loved ones know it, but he can't control it. It's an addiction. It's something that like gives him that dopamine rush when he knows things are really bad. He thinks it's going to fix it for him. So it's really powerful, and I think Brendan Fraser really goes for it in this role, and he just fully embraces this character in a way that I could have never expected. So in the story, Charlie wants to reconnect with his daughter. He has been absent from her life. There's some events that took place. He decided to make some decisions in his life to make himself happy that maybe put his family at risk and put his relationships with his family at risk. And he realizes in his last few days he's dying. He's so, beat down health-wise that there's no way that he's going to be able to continue to sustain his life the way it is. So he realizes he needs to reach out to his daughter. Sadie Sink plays his daughter Ellie, and she also does a fantastic job. Definitely these characters in these roles were excellent for the people that were cast in it. And you can tell that she's someone who is obviously struggling with her relationship with her father. She feels like she was abandoned. She feels like the world's against her. So it's this kind of juxtaposition between these two characters where you have Charlie, who is, even though in some dire situations, some really bad health-wise and just physically he's really struggling, he's overwhelmingly positive. He tries to stay positive. He's this positive light throughout the film, while you have Ellie, who's very dark and very grim and kind of like the negative aspects of things. And their clashes together they feel so genuine, they feel so earned, that you are really invested in these characters. Speaking of Charlie having these physical issues, he's fully covered in prosthetics to look like this individual. The makeup's very good, the wardrobe's really good, and his physical movements and the way he's able to capture the physicality of someone who's encumbered by all this weight is exceptional. It never feels fake. You never feel like you're watching someone in a suit. You never feel like it's not someone who's really struggling. And that's just really a testament to his acting ability. And just seeing someone struggle to do the things they want to do. There's a scene in particular where his daughter just is like, well, just walk over to me. I don't care about you. I don't care about anything. If you can get up and walk over to me, that'll make me happy or whatever. And he can't do it. He's struggling, and you just see the pain in his eyes. And just there's a ton of physical acting from him that isn't just the dialogue. While the movie is extremely well written, you get a lot of emotion just from his mannerisms and his movements and his facial expressions. And I can't say anything enough about how good he is in this movie. And while those two actors did a fantastic job, all the supporting actors did a great job as well. There's some smaller tertiary characters that come in that really flesh out this story, and you're understanding their perspectives as someone who loves Charlie and wants to help him, but they don't know how to. They're almost enabling him away, or they think they can help him in different ways that they can't help him. And the movie really dives into some symbolism and some relationships of what people think they need to do to be happy, or what think they can do to help people. And it's such a layered film. There's so many different things you can take away from the different characters and who they represent in someone's life. The cinematography is also really good. This movie is filmed in a way that is obviously taken from a onstage screenplay, and you're seeing that play out on the screen. It takes place almost entirely in Charlie's apartment. So you have this large individual and these other people moving around in this very small space. It's very claustrophobic, and as an audience member, you feel like you're kind of trapped there with him. You feel the entrapment that he feels as someone who cannot get out and experience life. He can't get out and have these relationships that maybe he wants to have because of where he's come from and what he's dealt with and what he's put himself in this kind of situation. It's really masterful how they were able to capture this from something that was made for the stage to transition to the big screen, and I think they did it in the best way possible. I won't go into too many spoilers or anything like that. I think it's a movie that's very good to experience. It's great to go into it not really knowing what to expect from it. Don't expect it to be exactly like Aronofsky's other work. I think it is not as, might I say, bizarre. Obviously, if you've watched Mother or Black Swan, it's not as bizarre as that film. There aren't as many kind of extreme, almost supernatural elements to it, but I think the ending really captures a full character arc for Charlie. You're seeing from the beginning just being someone at the lowest they could ever be, just someone just at the absolute rock bottom, struggling to even just live as who they are, to someone who's kind of accomplished what they need to accomplish. Maybe not as an audience member you think that is what he's going for, but as when you think deeper about who Charlie is and what he wants to do, I think the movie couldn't have ended in a better way. And while it may seem like a little abrupt when you're watching the movie, I think it is the best way you could have ended this film. Also, the score of the movie really captures this atmosphere. When you have these one location sets, I feel like you really need to flesh out that location. And they do that, whether it be through the sound design, the dialogue, the overall score, like I said. And the movie does a really good job of putting you in that space, putting it in the emotional space of these characters. Because Charlie experiences some happiness in this film, some some dread. He feels like he's dying multiple times. There's a lot of stuff thrown into it, and this movie could have easily been a really hard film to watch. And while it's not the easiest film to watch in the world, it does interject some positivity and some comedy, and just you really feel for this character. You really feel for Charlie, and you want him to be happy, even though he's a flawed individual. Like everyone who's watching the movie is a flawed individual. And I love that you're able to capture that. And I think the writing and the original writing of this whole screenplay is really what accomplishes that. So Samuel Hunter wrote the original source material for this movie, and he was also at the Middleburg Film Festival. It was great hearing how this was kind of built out from some of his own personal experiences. While it's not an autobiographical type movie, he kind of understood that struggle of being someone who's been in this situation, and he was really able to bring that to the film. And I think that's why it feels so genuine. The combination of his writing, Aronofsky's directing, and Fraser's acting, it just comes together to make essentially kind of like the perfect movie for what it's trying to say. And one last quick thing is that it's filmed in the 4:3 aspect ratio, which is something I personally really enjoy. I know some people may be a little turned off of it because they want that widescreen cinematic look, but it creates such a more personal experience for someone watching it. It feels more like you're watching a home video. It feels like you're watching something where you're so close to these characters. It feels like you're getting more from it because it's in that 4:3 and it's not this big overblown thing. So I think that was a great decision. Some of my favorite movies ever are filmed in that aspect ratio, and this is another one that goes in that catalog. So if I were to rate The Whale, I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. It is one of my favorite movies of the year. Obviously, Brendan Fraser is my pick for Best Actor currently. I did love some other performances this year, but he is just such a force in this movie, and it connected with me personally so well that I can't ask for more from this. So if you've checked out The Whale, let me know what you thought about it. I'd really love to hear someone who maybe didn't enjoy the movie as much as me, because going into it, like I said, I loved it. So I'd love to see maybe something that people didn't like some people did enjoy about it. I could almost see how it is. It's a little bit slower. I do think it's never boring in it. I think it's very captivating just from what these people are experiencing, the dialogue, the emotion. But I would love to hear your opinions on it. Leave those comments down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.